Alright, hello everyone, and today I am doing a review of a book that I was asked to be part of the ARC team for, and it is a book called, bear with, it's called Faking It With My Billionaire, an Off-Limits Age Gap Romance, and it's by H.J. Floris. And wow, it was an experience. That's all I'm going to say. I think it's probably like to sort of put if I wanted to give a very brief thing, it would be that. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to read my review that I wrote on Amazon, because I think it just sums up my feelings better than anything else. So now, on Amazon, I did give this a 2-star because I gave it a 2-star on the actual star rating, but I said in my review, like the written part, that I'd give it about 2.5. It's one of those things where I've been flitting between 2 stars and 2.5 stars. So I hope you understand why when I read out the written review I did. So, right. I read this as an ARC reader. All faults are my own. So, I really wanted to like this. I really did. The enemies to lovers fake dating trope I enjoy when it's done right. This story is centred around Hazel, a woman who thought she was an orphan until her parents managed to find her as an adult. She is the heiress of a jewellery company. Forrest is the CEO of his own company that he inherited from his now deceased parents. Without going into too much detail, the two of them basically end up fake dating in order to boost their respective companies. Now, I have a couple of issues with this book. The main one being the massive plot hole of it never being explained how or why Hazel ended up at the orphanage and was led to believe she was an orphan when her parents were alive all along. I even went back and skimmed over a chapter or two to see if I missed something, but I don't think I did. This ended up bugging the hell out of me for the entire story, so I ended up not being able to enjoy this for as much as I wanted. Also, I didn't feel anything for the two main characters. I know it was meant to be enemies to lovers type of thing. It's just hard to put into words, as I can't quite place my feelings or why I feel like this. But I just didn't like either of them. I just wanted to slap the pair of them most of the time. Overall, I give this a 2.5 out of 5 stars. Whilst I like the concept of the story, I didn't really enjoy the execution of it. Right. So yeah, going back to that massive plot hole, if it had been explained with the whole thing of Hazel, being led to believe she was an orphan and ending up at the orphanage, it was like, okay, why is none of this addressed? Why did she end up at the orphanage? Why did she think she was an orphan until basically her 20s? I mean, with Forrest, it's explained that the reason why he's CEO and why he became CEO at such a young age is because his parents died. I think they died in an accident or something like that, if I remember correctly. So that's explained. I mean, it's just like mentioned here and there, like, they passed away very suddenly, and that's why he became CEO, which was fine. I thought, okay, we know the reasons why. But with Hazel, it's like she basically thought she was an orphan and she wasn't, and it was like, okay, but why did she end up at the orphanage? Why did she think she was an orphan? If it had been explained with something like, for example, one idea I had off the top of my head was, say, for example, if they said, like, oh, her mother had, say, like a really bad case of postpartum depression, and in a bit of a mental break moment, she went and abandoned Hazel somewhere. And it wasn't until however long afterwards, once she got support and treatment and recovered, thought, oh crap, what did I do? Then decided, like, right, I want to go and try and find my daughter and explain and apologise, And then that's how they ended up then searching for her and then finding her. That's like, that would have worked, you know. Or another sort of, I think, example I thought of was like, what if the baby had been like taken by someone, and then say, like, they maybe then ended up dumping Hazel somewhere, and that's how she ended up in the orphanage, or, you know, something like that. Like, say, like, a rival was like, oh, in retaliation, we're gonna take your kid, you know, and then that's basically sort of like circumstances happened, and then Hazel ended up at the orphanage, kind of thing, you know, something like that. It's like, yes, it's like the kidnapping idea might be slightly silly, but it's like it at least still would have worked within the context of the story, because it's like when you've got massive companies competing against each other, sometimes crazy shit happens. So it's like, might have been a bit silly, but not beyond the realms of possibility. But it was just literally a massive plot hole of, oh, she was at an orphanage thinking she was an orphan, but her family was still alive. Where's the explanation for any of this? Why is it like, oh, you're an orphan, but you're not? We're supposed to just accept this, you know? So, yeah, I think that's the one thing that made me rate this story so low, because it was like, everything else was explained, like Forrest, how he became CEO, even with Hazel's cousin, who ends up living with her and her parents. It was explained that I think her parents passed away, so she ended up moving in with Hazel's parents, and they became basically her guardians. So it was like, even that was explained briefly, but Hazel's background wasn't. Why wasn't it explained? Why was she led to believe she was a bloody orphan? And then suddenly like, oh, you're the heiress of our company. It's just like, oh, fuck off. Sorry, I know that makes me sound really mean towards the author, but it pissed me off that bad that I'm even now like, it still winds me up even after all this time after reading it. It's just like, why did no one pick this plot hole up? Seriously though, just did no one properly proofread this and point it out? So yeah, right, calm, breathe. So yes, right, now I've had my rant, I'm just going to say to the author, just please be careful of these massive, great big plot holes. Get people to like proofread, or, you know, I don't expect people to pay out hundreds of thousands of pounds for like editors, proofreaders, things like that, because I get not everyone has that sort of money, but, you know, if you can find somebody who can help you, because it's like, people in like Facebook groups who would be willing to help you for free, or probably help you for a lower cost, and like would probably pick these kind of problems up. So, but I'm not saying don't stop writing, because it's like, you know, I want everyone to keep writing, keep publishing, whether it's self-published or traditional. It's just, please get your books properly looked at. Make sure they're properly sort of edited, they're properly formatted, check for spelling and grammar, and check for massive plot holes. It's like, there are people who will help you with all of this. So, yeah. So, there. That's my review. It's like, I wish I could have liked this more, but it was just that massive plot hole just wound me up so bad, because it was like, other characters had things explained, but Hazel wasn't. It was just like she was just there. And to be honest, I didn't really like either of Hazel or Forrest, to be honest, because they just both came across as kind of, oh, as I said, I can't explain it. I just did not, neither of them were particularly likeable. I did not like them personally, but all I'm going to say is, if you enjoyed this book, just, that's absolutely fine, more power to you. When I just say that I personally don't enjoy a book, it's just my personal opinion. But if other people enjoy it and got something out of it, then that's absolutely fine. So, I mean, we're all different. So, yeah. It's like, if you want to check this book out, by all means. You know, this is just me sharing my experience of it. So, I will see you all later on.